All right, friends, it is that time, another freeze-dried meal review. And today, this is one of those I'm super excited about, not because I know a lot about this company, because this is a new one for me. What's funny is last Friday, I was talking with a buddy over at Better Outfitters, Brody, who was at a expo in Texas. And we were talking about freeze-dried meals or kind of meals on the go. No pun intended in the name of this company. Anyways, so one thing led to another. He recommended this company to me here. And when a buddy like Brody tells you, hey, this just ran into, this is absolutely delicious, you got to give it a go. So while I was on the phone with him on Friday, I ordered this off of Amazon. It showed up at my place on Saturday. And because of the flavor, man, Cuban Rice Bowl. I mean, come on.
You have my attention.
Yeah, I'm putting this meal in front of 4 weeks. Actually, we have the next 4 weeks of freeze-dried meals already scheduled out, and I'm putting this in front of it because this, I have to say, I'm really intrigued with this flavor because it's a different flavor. It's not one of those kind of safe, ordinary flavors, and not to take anything away from any of the other meals, but it's interesting. So, of course, we're going to give this thing a go. Now, if this is your first kind of a video of this nature that you're watching, let me get you up to speed as what is going to happen. See, in a moment, I'm going to go through the packaging on this here. I'm going to share with you things that kind of stand out about this meal. Then we're going to crack this thing open. Well, you know what? Let me take that back. We're going to go through the nutritional facts that are on here, get you up to speed as far as what is exactly inside this pouch right here. Then we're going to crack it open and we're going to inspect it further. Then we're going to cook it up with our water. And then, of course, what you're here for is I'm going to dive in. I'm going to let you know what I think of this. Now, something to keep in mind, like anything else out there, like I share with these videos of this nature right here, look, just because I like it
Doesn't mean I like it.
or dislike it doesn't necessarily mean that you may agree with me.
That's what I just said.
But ultimately, I'm going to try to explain and the best that I can from the smell, the look, and just literally from a taste standpoint, does it taste good? Again, you may agree, you may not, but again, ultimately, if you go out there and spend your hard-earned money on this meal like this, you would have a pretty good idea as far as what your dollar is going to get.
Let's do this.
Now, I've never heard of this company before, and so I did some quick research, and there's a few things that really stand out. You see, this company's been around since 2014-ish, around there. The founders of this company used to run a Michelin star restaurant. Yeah, a Michelin star restaurant. Again, you start hearing some of the factoids about this company and where they're, from what I could gather off of, kind of consulted with Google there, you can really get excited pretty fast about what's potentially inside of here. Now, as you can see with the packaging here, this is I think this is a this is a 2-serving meal here, 30 grams of protein, just over 1,000 calories. In this pouch. Now, this is a gluten-free, this is a vegetarian. So one thing I do want to separate right up the get-go, I call this a freeze-dried meal. This is not freeze-dried. This is actually dehydrated gourmet meal inside of this here. But anyways, Cuban Rice Bowl, black beans, plantain and rice, garlic, cream sauce.
Delicious.
So underneath that, handcrafted in our kitchen in small batches with clean ingredients. We're going to flip this thing over on the backside. One of the things that I noticed right off the get-go is usually with most freeze-dried meals, again, it's not a freeze-dried meal, but these sort of meals of this nature, they bury the ingredients down on the bottom or somewhere below because who can pronounce what the hell's in there? And they make a kind of a remark here. Notice how many you can pronounce. Yeah, look at that. Onion, instant long grain rice, dried black beans, pepper, sour cream, powder, culture. Again, it's very clean. I really like that. And this is some of the things I noticed when I was looking at the meal on Amazon, trying to decide whether or not I really wanted to order this. And over on the right-hand side, seriously, good food. You'll be surprised at just how delicious this meal tastes. This is not a salt pile or space food. Promise, just all good and delicious. So, for what it's worth to these company, yeah, the packaging is just absolutely phenomenal. Now, this package right here, this is good to September 20th, 2025. So about a couple years from now. And it's proudly made by Good to Go in Maine, USA. Now, as I always point out here, This being a 2 serving meal, I'm a pig. I'm going to eat the whole thing. If you happen to be a single serving person, you're going to share this with somebody. Obviously, just reference the nutritional facts on the single serving. But total fat, 35 grams. Saturated fat, 14 grams. Trans fat, 0.5 grams. Cholesterol, 55 grams. Sodium, 1160. So that's pretty good for a package like this. Total carbohydrates, 164 grams. So you're getting some good carbs out of this here. Dietary fiber, 19 grams. Total sugar, 20 grams. Included sugars, or added sugar rather, 0 grams. Protein is 30 grams. And then you have a few other items down below. All right, enough is enough. Let's crack this thing open and see. Let's do the old sniff test. Okay, the top of this is a little bit more of a workout to open up, but
What does it smell like?
holy smokes. Maybe because this is not freeze-dried, but dehydrated. Again, the difference between that, when you freeze-dried, it actually pulls more of that water molecule out of the whatever you're eating. This smells, wow. Let's just get this into the bowl here. This smells absolutely delicious. And one thing I just noticed there, that you're prepping all these meals. Oops. One of the first things that you want to pull out, the absorber. So let's go through the directions with this here. So you're going to tear the pouch open and remove the oxygen absorber, which we've done already. That's pretty much, the same way with all these sort of meals. You're going to add a little less than 2.5 cups of boiling water. Yes, boiling water to the bag. Stir and reseal, hang out for 12 minutes. Think about how big the universe is. It's funny, the first time I'm reading the directions. I love how they word everything on these things. Open, stir, again, eat, smile. Rehydrate will take longer at higher altitudes. Okay, so whoever did their packaging, the wording on all of this.
It's catchy.
Let's take a look at this here. This, I seriously can't believe how much this really, the smell of this here, and we haven't added any water. So look at all these bits. Okay, here's our, I'm almost curious. Here's our freeze-dried tomato. Okay, maybe that was in a bright mood because it's like chewing leather right now, so it definitely needs to hydrate. But you can see there's a lot of well-balance of just everything. There's those beans. Surprisingly, the flavor is actually pretty tasty off of that already. So this looks really, really well-balanced. All the ingredients that we just read off on the back of this thing here, it looks really well-balanced. And so I'm going to say, let's not waste any more time. Let's get this back into the pouch here. I still can't believe how delicious that smells. All right, so the routine, we have 2.5 cups of water here. And as always, I'm gonna get just a little bit in there. We're gonna start stirring that around. Like any meals like this, guys, you wanna make sure you get that water all over the place. Especially I've noticed with the rice sort of meals, you want to spend a little extra time and make sure you get that water moved all over the place. Make sure it gets all over to hydrate the meal properly. So we're gonna pour that 2.5 cups into here, or just a little bit less than 2.5 cups. All right, that is a lot of water. Okay, there we go. All right. I'm realizing as this is filling up, I'm like, holy smokes. This is going to be a meal. It smells absolutely
Delicious.
We're going to close that up, and it said 12 minutes. All right, friends, 12 minutes is done and over. Now, moment of truth. Okay, I'm going to give this one more stir here. Oh, this is looking... One thing I noticed, the spice in those beans, which I love beans, so this is gonna be pretty tasty. Okay, right off the get-go, I can tell this is, holy smokes. Now I said I'm a two-serving person. I just noticed something new on here. I was commenting earlier on the packaging on the bottom. Pack in, enjoy, pack it out. Nice, a good firm reminder. What you bring in, take out. All right, so here we go. Right off the get-go, we see just a very well balanced of all those tomatoes, the beans right here, the rice. And one thing I noticed here as I was stirring this around, look at the side of the dish here. Look at all those seasoning, all that goodness just sticking to the side. There's a lot happening in here. And one of the things that I really admire about this here is it's not, if you deal with a lot of freeze-dried meals, or in this case, again, this is a dehydrated meal, but a lot of them they're really thick. This is really, it's like a soup. I wouldn't say a soup basis. It's like a gumbo basis. As you can see, you make cast your own judgment. I like the fact there's a lot of liquid in here. Now, the one thing that's going through my mind here is, wow, first off, I'm frothing here. I cannot wait to get into this here. But one of the things I'm noticing here is I tell you guys each and every one of these meals, I'm a 2-serving sort of person. There's a lot of food here. I'm not sure how I'm going to be able to eat this all.
Okay, but does it taste good?
Beans, rice, with back note of the tomato there is the first things I'm tasting there. The seasoning, if you like spice, there's a hint of spice in here, which I do like. This is really, really, wow. The flavor there's a lot happening. So again, one of the first things, if you like beans, one of the first flavors that's hitting your taste bud, at least for me, are those black beans. It's the plantains, that's what I'm tasting right there. Those larger pieces. There's such a again, when you look at meals and so forth, it's funny because I was talking to somebody about this earlier when it comes to freeze-dried meals and so forth. A lot of cases, what happens is companies will mix, okay, this needs some peas, it needs corn, it needs beef, it needs this. And they're putting them in the package, but it's not cooked together. This company, from what I could tell online, they're cooking all this in small batches. And actually, I think it said it right on the front here. Yeah, so it's actually, they cook this in small batches. So all of this is simmering and festering together. Anyways, it's fusing together as it's being cooked before it actually goes through the dehydration process. And it shows because the flavor of the beans or the seasoning, it goes into, you can tell it's actually fused into the rice and some of these other items here. And you know what? Gentleman I spoke to earlier on this recommended Cholula. So I'm gonna try a little spooch of that there. I love Cholula. Spooch, I don't know where the hell that came from, but I'm gonna own it and just go with it. All right. Let's give that a go. And it doesn't need it, but because they mentioned their personal preference was adding a little Cholula. Well, here's the funny thing. I'm not vegetarian, but just like a few weeks back, we did a Backpacker's Pantry, the vegetarian lasagna, which turned out to be a major home run. I've shared with you guys in previous videos, there's really 2 scoring systems here. The scorecard that you're going to see here momentarily, and then, of course, my ultimate personal testimony. Is this something that would make it into my expedition trailer when I go heading out? I can tell you right now, absolutely big heck yeah. I really like the balance, the depth of flavor that is coming out of this meal right here. And then when you add the Cholula on here, again, you don't need the hot sauce on there, but it punches it up. That really, if you like Southern food, you got to give this one a go here. I'm going to call up Better Outfitters after this and give them a thumbs up, a props up that, hey, great recommendation. And so, anyway, let's take a look at the scorecard for Good to Go Cuban Rice Bowl. All right, friends, there you go. Another meal review. Geez, good to go. Sometimes the title says it best. This is definitely good to go. Cuban Rice Bowl. As you can see there, this scored very, very well with my taste bud. This is definitely one of those meals that I would highly, highly recommend. Yeah, this is right there. Seriously good food. It's tasty. Very good. Anyways, this time of the video, I'll remind you that we will put some links down below. So if you want to give this one a go yourself, I'll put a link over to Amazon. And so we certainly do appreciate you supporting the channel by picking it up through there. Doesn't cost you anything else, and it essentially potentially buys me a beer. But anyway, all the same, good seeing you guys here. I'll put some links down below to some other reviews that we've done as well. If you have questions on this meal or you'd like to see us review some other meals, let me know down in the comments. I'll do my best to get to each and every one of you. But friends, that is it. We'll see you next time.